Have you ever felt like you're just hitting an invisible wall? Like something is holding you back? Well, it's probably not your circumstances or your background or even your luck. The real control center for your entire life is your own mind. And the best part? It's something you have total power to change. So let's dive in and figure out how.
Just let that sink in for a second. This is such a powerful truth. Success doesn't start with what's happening around you. It starts with what's happening inside you. It's an internal game, first and foremost. And once you truly get that, it unlocks pretty much everything.
So here's the chain of command for our lives, and it's actually way simpler than you might think. It all kicks off with your thoughts. Those thoughts, they drive your actions. And when you repeat those actions enough, they become your habits. Your habits, they determine your results. And ultimately, it's your results that build the future you get to live in. It's a direct line, a straight shot, from one single thought all the way to your destiny.
Okay, I want you to think of your mind as the most powerful computer ever built. Seriously. Now, if that computer is running old, buggy software, programs full of fear and doubt and excuses, well, your results are going to be pretty limited. But here's the cool part. Just like any computer, you can install new software. You can delete the old code and write a brand new program for success.
So here's our game plan. We're going to cover the 4 core lessons for upgrading your mind's operating system. We'll start by deleting those limiting beliefs, then we'll learn how to focus on opportunity, install some powerful success habits, and finally, we'll upgrade your entire environment.
All right, let's get into the most important first step, finding those hidden programs. These are the invisible scripts that are secretly running your life in the background. We're talking about your limiting beliefs.
So what exactly is a limiting belief? It's really just a thought you've played on repeat so many times that it feels like an absolute fact. You know the ones, things like, I'm just not smart enough, or I always mess this up, or maybe people like me don't get those kinds of breaks. These aren't true. They're just old, deeply ingrained mental programs. So what are the ones you tell yourself?
So, how do we get rid of them? Well, it's a 4-step process. First up is awareness. You have to actually catch yourself thinking these things. Second, questioning. You have to challenge it. Ask yourself, is this really 100% true? Third is replacing it. You can't just leave a void. You have to install a new, better program. And fourth, and this is crucial, you have to take action. You need to go out and collect new evidence that proves your new belief is the real one. And here's a perfect example of that replacement step. Instead of running that old, broken program that says, I always fail, you install a much more powerful one. I grow from every experience. Just that one little shift in your language changes everything. Suddenly, failure isn't the end of the road. It's just a data point you can use for growth. So, if you take one thing away from this first lesson, let it be this. Your ability is not the ceiling. Your belief is the ceiling. Raise the ceiling on what you believe is possible for yourself, and I promise your ability will stretch to meet it. Okay, moving on to lesson 2. Once you start cleaning up those old beliefs, you've got to change your focus. Your mind is going to see whatever you train it to see. So let's start training it to see opportunities everywhere. Just look at the difference here. You could be in the exact same tough situation and see it 2 completely different ways. Asking, why is this so hard? That just trains your brain to look for excuses and reasons to quit. But asking, how can I solve this? Well, that trains your brain to hunt for solutions and find a way forward. Same problem, different question, completely different outcome. So, how do you actually train your focus? Here are a few really powerful techniques. First, control the questions you ask yourself. Reframe every challenge as training instead of a problem. Limit how much negative news and complaining you let in. Practice gratitude, especially when things are tough, to see what you do have. And spend time visualizing the success you're working towards.
This is really the fundamental law of focus. Your attention is like a magnifying glass. Whatever you hold it over gets bigger and more intense in your reality. So, if you focus on your problems, they're going to seem huge and insurmountable. But if you focus on solutions, they'll start popping up all over the place.
All right, so we've worked on our beliefs and our focus. Now for lesson 3, we need to make all this new programming stick, and we do that with our habits. See, success isn't some one-time decision. It's the sum of your daily actions.
Man, this quote is so important. We all have these big, ambitious goals, right? But on a tough day, when you're tired and motivation is low, you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems, your habits.
A strong foundation of habits is what will carry you through.
And these right here are the building blocks. It all starts with controlling that first hour of your day to set the right tone. Then, commit to learning something new every single day. Practice self-discipline like it's a muscle because it gets stronger with use. Use positive self-talk. Be your own coach, not your own critic. Set tiny goals you can hit every day to build momentum. And finally, take a few minutes before bed to reflect on your progress and celebrate the small wins.
And please, remember this, it's not about one giant, heroic effort. It's about small, smart choices that you repeat consistently, day in and day out. A tiny 1% improvement every day leads to absolutely massive transformation over time. That's the real power of habits.
And that brings us to our final and absolutely critical lesson. Because, look, you can do all the internal work in the world, but if your external environment is constantly feeding you negative programming, well, it's like trying to swim upstream in a river of mud.
The contrast here could not be more clear. A negative environment is just filled with the noise of complaints, gossip, doubt, and excuses. It just drains your energy. A success environment, on the other hand, is buzzing with the energy of ambition, growth, new ideas, and positivity. It fuels you.
So, it's time to become the active curator of your own environment. Here's the plan. Start limiting your time with people and content that just bring you down. Choose your conversations wisely. Protect your big ideas from the doubters. Organize your physical space so it signals success to your brain. And consciously choose your circle, whether that's online or in person, so you're surrounded by people who challenge you to grow.
And that's the key takeaway. Your environment is not neutral. It is actively shaping your thoughts, your identity, and your habits every single day. So you have to choose it wisely. So, let's bring this all together. Success is not an accident. It's not a lottery ticket. It begins and ends in your mind. By deleting limiting beliefs, focusing on opportunity, building success habits, and upgrading your environment, you are taking direct control of the command center that literally creates your future. And this isn't just about feeling better. It's about getting better results.
This is the path. It's a progression. First, you reprogram your thoughts. Those new thoughts, when you repeat them, reprogram your habits. Your new habits, over time, reprogram your very identity, how you see yourself in the world. And once your identity shifts, your external results have no choice but to follow.
Look, this isn't just some interesting theory to think about. It's a call to action. You have the code. You have the instructions. So the only question that really matters right now is this. What is the first limiting belief, the first piece of outdated software that you are going to delete and rewrite, starting today?